And we got 71 laps ahead of us here at Interlagos. It's lights out and away we go. They weren't held very long at the start. Russell gets away very cleanly though, and he's already got Lewis Hamilton behind him, with Sergio Perez tying down the inside with Lando Norris as well. Verstappen stays ahead of Perez. Norris is trying to get in on the act as Russell leads Hamilton, leads Verstappen and Perez, and then Charles Leclerc, who's lost a couple of places maybe, trying to get back on terms with Lando Norris. Into the Destino Lago we go. George Russell, brilliant start from him. Look how Lando Norris, not feeling 100% today, is having to work hard on these early stages.
And Ferrari, of course, on the medium compound tyres didn't get away so well, so now they've got the McLaren ahead of them. They want to be dispatching that as quickly as they can, if indeed they can. Perfect getaway for both Mercedes, and they could take the speed through the first few corners.
Daniel Ricciardo makes contact there with Kevin Magnussen, and there's a second contact, and they're both out of the race.
We're going to see it from Ricciardo's point of view. Yeah, so that's 100% Daniel's fault, unfortunately, and then didn't recognise that the Haas was freewheeling backwards.
There he goes, and I tell you what, Max Verstappen right on the tail. There are Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez too. Perez is looking to try and go down the inside of his teammate. Verstappen goes around the outside of Lewis Hamilton. Has Verstappen got ahead by the time they get to the next corner? They touch. The Mercedes of Hamilton and the Red Bull of Verstappen make contact here at Interlagos. Verstappen's got big damage to his wing, and has Lewis Hamilton got a puncture?
Hamilton's moving all over the place, wasn't he? Really struggling to keep the car straight. So that was the kind of thing I was expecting from Max. I talked about it in the pre-show. He's definitely had to get his elbows out, and they've been severely bruised.
And round the outside goes Charles Leclerc, and there's contact too with Lando Norris, and Charles Leclerc is off and into the barriers. And after one safety car, we could well get another. Now this is what happened. Verstappen's ahead going into turn one. Hamilton now ahead going into there. A 5-second time penalty for Max Verstappen for causing a collision. That's the incident that saw Charles Leclerc disappear off into the barriers. He must have hit it the right way, because so often we see a bit of damage from the wrong angle. Verstappen comes in then to change that front wing, and behind him Leclerc also in the pits.
Lewis Hamilton in the background is being passed.
And Lewis Hamilton then dueling away with Mick Schumacher, and we saw just ahead Carlos Sainz making the move on Lando Norris. And Hamilton trying to make amends, pulling out from behind the slipstream of Sebastian Vettel's Aston Martin, taking him 3 laps, and he's managed to get his man. There goes Lewis Hamilton. You notice the pace difference on the previous lap. Look at that, even before he jams the brakes on to head into turn one. Lewis Hamilton now ahead of Lando Norris. There goes Sebastian Vettel down the inside on Lando Norris. Sebastian Vettel has seen that move pulled off a few times in this race, and he's done it himself a few times in the past, and he's now up into the top 5. That is Max Verstappen's pit stop. That's the 5-second penalty that he was serving, of course. And we're on board now with Valtteri Bottas, currently in 8th place. Going wheel to wheel there with Pierre Gasly. Valtteri Bottas enters the first corner, and he's ahead with Sebastian Vettel. Close attendance behind Pierre Gasly. We're on board with Lewis Hamilton, and Perez trying to defend. Lewis Hamilton going wheel to wheel with Sergio Perez, and to the roar of the crowd, emerging out triumphant by the time they get into turn one. Hamilton up to second. It's once again a Mercedes 1-2. Lando Norris has come to a standstill in his McLaren.
I've lost power.
Full safety car.
Which is what I thought might happen the minute they couldn't move that car. Let's have a listen. Perez will see the Ferrari trying to go down the inside, covers him off, gave him space. Sainz maybe a little tentative, couldn't quite get to him. Now they're almost making contact through the curve of the Sol. Perez ahead and in 3rd place. Sainz coming at him, and there's Charles Leclerc waiting in the background, and we can see Fernando Alonso trying to make a move on Valtteri Bottas, and it didn't quite come off, but Bottas looking like he was struggling. We head towards Ferragura. Bottas glad that he's got the inside line here, but Alonso goes around the outside anyway, and Fernando Alonso up into 6th place. Oh, look, he's pushing to the maximum. He's almost pushing into the rear wing of the Red Bull. Carlos Sainz up into the podium places. DRS really helping here. There's Ocon ahead of him, Valtteri Bottas. 2 picked off at the same corner. Nice. On board with Charles Leclerc this time around. Charles Leclerc is looking to go down the inside. Perez wanted to cover that off, but it was too late. The Ferrari was already on the scene, and what a rescue job this is for Ferrari. All Perez now trying to fend off Fernando Alonso. Dive down to the left-hand side. Alonso saw him coming, wanted to go around the outside. Knows he's going to get decent traction out the Curva de Sol, and with a bit of DRS down the Reta Reposta, he's got another chance. And look at the speed that the Alpine's got, getting past Sergio Perez. So here he goes, Verstappen on Sergio Perez, down the inside. Perez fights it with one hand tied behind his back a little bit. He wasn't going to put up too much defence. And in his first season for Mercedes, George Russell, after winning the sprint yesterday, wins the Sao Paulo Grand Prix on a Sunday. It's a 1-2 for Mercedes. It's gorgeous for George. It's absolutely wonderful for the Constructors' Champions.
George Russell, you are a Formula 1 race winner. Come on!
Made the step up from Williams to finally become a Mercedes driver in his 4th season in Formula 1, and he's got a perfect double this weekend, the sprint and the Grand Prix. It's the Russell Hustle at Interlagos.